All right, shower is completed. That's not okay.
Oh, I just saw the gnat again.
That's not okay, in my opinion. Oh! Today I will be a plus size influencer who has died. That is crazy.
This video is so raw, you guys. Fuck.
Damn, what a real bitch is that?
Hey there YouTube, it's me Hens, and I'm back here with Amberlynn. It's Friday. This is Salty Crab's recap of Amberlynn's latest live stream. It's called Playing Choosey Live, Amberlynn's 13th members only stream. Bar my summary. Let's get into this, because it's 35 minutes. I have it set to 1.3 speed, and let's go.
Do you believe in Helen Keller? No.
What? Excuse me?
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel
Hey,
and welcome
Salty.
to the echoiest room you've ever heard. I'm trying to
Don't worry about it. If you're recording on a PC and you have an NVIDIA GPU, you can download their broadcast software, and it has a noise reduction and echo reduction function in your GPU if you use like OBS.
work on that. I apologize that it's still echoey. I hope you guys understand. But today we have a members only stream to go over. Before we get to that, I just want to say that my channel hit 50,000 subscribers.
Congratulations, Gorly Pop.
And I feel like I'm still in shock over it. I don't even have words. I can't
It's fully
even
deserved.
tell you guys how much I appreciate each and every single one of you, the support.
And her video from 2 days ago has like, I think it has like 60,000 views, and it has almost double of Amber's video from that day.
Support that you've given me. I see y'all in the comments. All you guys who watch my videos, you come back week after week to see what I'm rambling about this time. And I just want to say that I appreciate you so much, and you guys will just never understand what a huge impact you have made on my life, and I am so grateful to you. So let's go ahead and get on with the members only live stream summary. This was members only number 13, but I wouldn't say it's a lucky number 13. We'll get into that in a minute. In this stream, Amber, I feel like every week for the past month or so, I've been like, she's so smug, she's so smug, she's so smug. This week, it was more like a biatch Lynn, because she was just in an awful mood. She was going off on people in the chat. She had no patience for anyone or anything. And in my opinion, this was the most half-assed live stream that she has ever done, ever, in the history of ever. So let's go ahead and just get right into
Well, damn. With that, let's get into it.
it. Ready? Let's go. So just starting off, her face I noticed looked a bit puffier
Giddy
than
up.
usual. And before Amber or anyone gets mad about that, she actually said it herself in the stream. So I'm allowed to point it out too. She said that her week this week has been good, but she's not feeling the greatest. And she does end up telling us why, but we will get to there in a minute. Someone in the chat says that they're going to see Trisha Paytas this weekend, and Amber says that if she was still in Wisconsin, she would definitely go to the Milwaukee concert or show or whatever.
You could still go. You can still show up. As long as you don't stop by Tommy's house after. As long as you don't creep on Emily and her family. That's cool. You could do that.
Call them whatever Trisha's doing. And so right away, Amber says, because people have been requesting her to play Choosey with them during her members only streams, she says that we are going to be doing it this week. She made a list of 30
No.
celebrities, and we all get to play Choosey with her. Aren't you guys
Why?
so excited? So mostly everyone in the chat is saying, you know, they want to play, and they're like, yes, let's do Choosey.
Really?
But there's someone who says, please no Choosey. And of course, Amber just has to address it, right? She can't just let that one comment go by. So she says, I'm sorry. When I watch live streams or podcasts, like there are parts where I'm like, okay, I'm not interested in this part, but I'm just gonna let you know, the creator do whatever they want to do. So if there ever is a part in my life,
I mean, we're not stopping you. It's just not going to be something that your audience is all going to enjoy. And maybe that one person is the only person who feels comfortable telling you that.
live stream or my videos that you don't enjoy, just skip over that part and come back later, which I felt like was her passive aggressive way of saying, shut up, no one cares. Someone in the chat asks her to play FMK, which is fuck, marry, unalive. And she says, quote, So I don't like playing fuck, marry, unalive because I don't like saying that I want to unalive somebody. I know that sounds like
Sure.
stupid, but that's just like how I feel. Since when? Because I'm pretty sure it wasn't that long ago that she was playing that game with her exes. And I could have sworn she said something like she would unalive all of them, but I could be wrong.
What?
So then she tells everyone, okay, we're going to play Choosey once we hit the hour mark. So I guess, get excited or something like that. Then she says, so she is about to address why she doesn't feel well. She says, quote, I'm a little under the weather type deal. So the tea is, this is so embarrassing, but I'm going to be mentioning it in my weigh-in video. I'm going to be mentioning it in my blog. So it doesn't even matter. I have cellulitis type deal. And then
Good for
apparently she tells us that
you.
she got cellulitis from a puddle, a muddy puddle. This is how she
Lol. A muddy puddle gave Amberlynn cellulitis. I so believe it.
explained it. She said, quote, it was flooding like really bad. And I had to get into my apartment, I had to physically step in this big flood area.
You know why this doesn't make sense? That she just automatically gets cellulitis from stepping in puddles. She didn't get cellulitis when she went swimming in that toxic lake. Did she?
Because I wouldn't have been able to get back inside of my apartment. And it went
And like the comments were saying on her video, she has open sores on her legs, clearly, of different types, and probably scratches and stuff from the cat and the dog. And like, it's crazy that she just thinks that that's normal. Like, I have a about a 1.5 inch cut on my ankle, but that's because like I literally cut it and I didn't notice for like a day, and then I had to apply antibacterial ointment and alcohol swabs to the area, and it's healing. It's not like her stuff that just stays open for days and days and days.
like literally to my calf. And then she starts to cry and says that it freaks her out when she gets cellulitis, which, girl, I don't blame you for that. I would be freaked out too if I was your size and getting an infection like that. She tells us that there's two versions of cellulitis that she can get. One is where she has a fever and is throwing up and can't eat for days. And the other is where she just has the infection in her leg. And that's the version that she has. So technical, guys. She says that having cellulitis is embarrassing for her because, quote, everyone loves to come for me about it, but I have lipedema. It's easy for it to happen. So then someone in chat asks what cellulitis is, and she explains it this way. She says, quote, it is literally just an infection in your skin that people with lymphedema or lipedema are prone to getting so much easier because you don't have the same circulation and your lymph system doesn't flow the same. So it makes it a million times easier to get, like a million times. Which I mean,
Oh yeah, I'm so inconsiderate. I meant to ask everybody, how is your lymph flowing today? I hope everybody's lymph is flowing adequately today.
she's kind of right, but not really. Now, obviously, I'm not a doctor, I'm not an expert, I don't know, I'm not a nurse. I don't have lymphedema or lipedema, but I do know how to Google shit. And according to Google, the reason why people with lymphedema are more susceptible to cellulitis is because since the lymphedema causes them to have more fluid and more swelling, that makes their skin become thinner because it's being stretched out. And that is what makes it easier for bacteria to enter in and spread. And that swollen tissue then provides a favorable environment for the bacteria to grow.
Making sense. Making sense. Interesting. Interesting. And Amberlynn never wants to do anything to improve it. Interesting. She's just cool, just sitting there, letting her legs split open, basically, because she's not doing anything. Imagine if she was actually walking around a whole bunch and bumping into stuff. She would be freaking cut up all over.
Now, one could argue, I think, that if a person with lymphedema did what they could to keep the swelling down, that would also decrease their chances of cellulitis. But
That's
I mean,
true.
again, what
Wouldn't
do
you
I know?
think?
So Amber continues on and she says that she recognizes that since cellulitis is a skin infection, that it could get into her bloodstream and it could be deadly for her. But she says that she knows what her first few symptoms are when she gets it, and she's always on top of it instantly. She says that she's already seen a doctor and she's on antibiotics. Someone asks if she got it because wasabi scratched her, and she says no, it was the puddle. Someone asks if she cleaned her legs after she stepped in the puddle, and she says that she took, quote, a whole shower afterwards. Sure, yeah, totally believe that. Someone asks she says, quote, sometimes it doesn't matter. Like bacteria you can't see bacteria no matter how much you clean yourself, whatever. It may be like, it's just how it works, unquote. Someone asked what her symptoms are, and she says, quote, my leg is red. You know, if you look up what cellulitis looks like, very that coded, but not as like intense because, like I said, I know what to look out for. Okay, so now
Wow.
here is where my ambi senses started tingling because she says that she got prescribed antibiotics for 14 days. Now, that seemed like a long time to me, especially when she said that the cellulitis wasn't even that bad. She said that it's in the very beginning stages, and the only symptom she has is redness in her leg. So, I mean, again, I could be wrong, but I think that it's possible that her cellulitis is actually worse than she's saying, but she doesn't want the backlash of people telling her, why did you wait so long to go to the doctor? Again, just a theory. Even the way that she was speaking about it, it felt like she was trying to just, brush past it, downplay it. She was overemphasizing how it's not a big deal, guys. It's already been taken care of. But I mean, of course, that didn't stop her from using it as an excuse, but we'll get there in a minute. Okay, so then immediately after saying her only symptom is that her leg is red and swollen, but not as, quote, intense, she says now that her leg is hurting and that it's, quote, beyond swollen. So someone asks, well, how long does it take for it to go away? And she says, quote, it usually takes about 2 weeks, I would say. But
What
she
the
does say
fuck?
that one time she had it for a month because it just wouldn't go away. So yeah, she says that is why she's been feeling under the weather because she has an infection inside her body. And then here's where she starts using the cellulitis as an excuse. She says that she hasn't started filming at all for this week's weekly vlog, and she hasn't done her weekly weigh-in video, which she usually has filmed, edited, and scheduled to upload by now. She said she was going to have to film it last night after the members only stream because she just
Yeah,
hasn't
she
been feeling
did.
very uppity lately. So the conversation moves on to other topics. Amber claims that no one in her life has ever called her smug. I mean, maybe not to her face. She says that it's because she's, quote, perceived so differently in person. And she doesn't ever mean to be smug. I guess she's saying it just happens to her, right? So
That's not just something that happens to you, especially if you don't have anything to back it up. Like, that's the problem with Amberlynn is that she wants to be so boastful and like act as though she's an authority on things, but she has nothing to show for any of the boasting.
So then the space talk starts, and she reiterates again that she still doesn't believe anyone ever went to the moon. Someone asks her about the new season of Black Mirror, and spoiler alert, if you have not seen it yet, she brings up the episode that she says showed what gaslighting looks like. She says, quote, this girl would be like, no, that girl really did that. And then she started to feel crazy. Like, it felt like a gaslighting episode. I loved that episode because I was like, I know how that feels, unquote. Now, again, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, but it's really funny that Amber would relate to that character, to the main character in the episode, because that character is actually, she was the mean girl in high school. And that character made up a
Wow.
lie about someone who she thought she was better than. And that lie ended up causing a lot of pain and problems in the other character's life. So, really not surprised that Amber would relate to her. So then someone asks her, well, did you think that the main character was a villain or a hero? And Amber thinks about it for a minute and she says she thinks the villain of the episode was the other girl, the girl who had the
What?
rumors spread about her and whose life was made hell by the main character. Yeah, that's who she thought the villain was. And she
Now that's what I call crazy, volume 34. Like, what the fuck? Amberlynn, that's so proving that you are the bad person in the majority of situations.
She explained her thinking that by saying, quote, like, okay, in high school, people are mean. Kids are mean. Like, I went through the whole thing. Like, I was so bullied, like, unbelievably bullied. But, like, the extent that you go to, like, bro, no, that was too much for me. And someone in chat says, didn't you say that you bullied people too? And
Yes.
she says, quote, yeah, like, one time. I was in second grade. I'll regret that for the rest of my life. It was one time, and I still think back to that moment. And I'm like, I hope that person does not remember that. And then, like
How
clockwork, as
would they
soon as she
not?
takes accountability for
You fucking broke their glasses. How would they not remember that, but you do? Are you fucking stupid?
something she did wrong, she immediately has an excuse why she did it, and it's never her fault. She says, quote, it's like when you're bullied at home, you go to school and be a bully. So, yeah, something else to blame on her parents. She says apparently in high school she was sympathetic to the bullies and even now is sympathetic and pities the people online who are awful to her. And she says it's because she believes that obviously there's something going on within themselves or in their home life, something that makes them that way, she says. Okay, so going back to the space talk. She gets a super chat that says, quote, "Love you. My grandpa Tom Dolan was an engineer with NASA. You can Google him. And the lunar lander was his idea. We definitely went to the moon." Okay, are y'all ready
Nice.
for Amber's response?
Nice.
She said, quote, "Kelsey, that's awesome. Thank you for the super chat, but I don't believe it." She says, however, that she does believe in aliens. Someone in chat says the only space Amberlynn believes in is her dance team, which cracked me
Lol.
up. And she says, so then we start talking about the dance team. She says she wishes her dad could be in a vlog because he could talk about it because he and
Your strung out, drug addicted dad that you don't talk to because you don't think that he's a good man. You think he's a fundamentally unredeemable human being that you don't want anything to do with. That he let his friends and people around you do unthinkable things to you. That guy, right? What the fuck is wrong with her?
her grandpa went to one of her dance team performances when they were performing in front of a big audience, and he took pictures. But of course, she doesn't have any of those pictures now, which she says is really sad. So then my girl Olivia comes in with a comment of the night that says, quote, "I am a moon landing skeptic, but I believe the moon landing happened before I believe you were a part of the space dance team. You won a bunch of
Lol.
awards for choreography."
That's funny.
Which Amber reads out and just laughs and says she's a troll. Someone
That's
asks
really
if she's
funny.
seen Mr. Snowflake's new video about Beck, and at first she acts like she just has no idea what they're talking about. Then when she's told that the video is about Beck's history with Amber, she says that she, quote, "probably would not watch it because if it's about Beck's history with me, I can only go ahead and assume that it's from a biased standpoint by someone who likes Beck. So I don't want to put myself in that position." She says that she doesn't want to watch anything involving Beck because it would put her in a, quote, wild headspace. So she says that she is now a Shane Dawson fan again, and she watches
What
any
the fuck? Of course you would like that nasty ass racist bitch.
videos that he makes because, quote, "I genuinely believe that people can change, and he was young when he made those really."
It's always the people who have a pattern of abusing and manipulating and doing this shit. They always stick together and like they have this cyclical falling out and then they get back together and then it's this toxicness that they always have and then they have it in their personal relationships too. Like with all of her exes, she's antagonistic towards every single one of them that's not submissive.
inappropriate jokes that I do not stand for. That is not what I'm saying at all. Literally, do not agree with any of that. But the comedy back then was different. Like, I believe that he has changed, and the proof is in the pudding, as they say. And he's done a lot of therapy, etc., etc. And he's definitely turned his life around wholeheartedly, unquote. Guys, her new word that she's fixated on is wholeheartedly. Just prepare yourself. You're going to hear it a lot.
Wonderful.
So then the moon truthers are not about to drop the conversation. They start talking about the moon again, and someone super chats her and says, quote, "There is so much proof we went to the moon." She responds by saying, quote, "Yeah, there's also proof we didn't, so that's what makes it fun." What the fuck does that mean? So at this point, Amberlynn picks up her phone and starts texting someone, and I'm telling you, the texting was so excessive on this stream. It was so incredibly rude. And I decided to actually keep track of how many times she picked up her phone to text just in this stream alone. And I basically lost count after 20 times. 20
Jesus
times.
Christ. She's probably texting either her bingo friend or that one person who messaged her, sent her the voice message for her ask me anything or whatever.
In a 2-hour live stream for her
Not
members,
ask me
for her
anything.
paying members. So then someone asks her who her favorite president is, and she says Bernie Sanders. Yes.
What?
You guys all remember our former president, President Bernie Sanders?
And you know that Amberlynn never voted for him. Never. Not in any of the primaries. Not ever.
Yeah, that's the one she picked. Um, the same person who sent a super chat a minute ago says, "What do you mean there's proof we didn't?" Like they were not going to let this go. And she strokes her hair and says, "You should watch videos on it. It's really actually fascinating. I'm not going to argue about this. It's just an opinion that I have, which I mean, listen, everyone can have their own opinion."
No, there's no opinion on science. Science is a method of thinking, and it's a way that you arrive at conclusions. It's not something that you get to have an opinion on. You can have thoughts on how something is done and the results that come from that process, but otherwise, if you're just saying that you utterly reject a part of the process or the entire process because of what it is, that's you having a failure of understanding.
I'm not sure this is something that you could have an opinion about. It's kind of like saying, it's my opinion that there's no such thing as gravity. Okay.
No, it's like saying, in my opinion, there are 11 inches in a foot. In my opinion, that's what it is.
Have your opinion. So then it always cracks me up too because whenever Amber says she's not going to argue about something, because I mean, this girl has never, and I mean never, walked away from an argument. She'll talk her shit and block someone, but she literally can't ignore a troll comment or a difference of opinion. She always has to get the last word in. Okay, and then Amber says that she doesn't believe that Katy Perry went to space. She says it 100% never happened.
I believe they went to low Earth orbit. Like, that's why they are able to float, but they're not actually in space.
Someone says, "Do you believe in the sun?" And she says, "Yeah, but she believes that it's closer to us than they say it is."
What?
And then someone asks, "Do you believe in Helen
How long do you think that it takes for a photon to leave the sun and get to us, Amber? Not counting the time it spends in convection within the sun, because that would add a few thousand years potentially.
Keller?" And if you saw the clip at the beginning of this video, you will already know that she says, no, she doesn't. Like, I'm sorry, Amber, don't
What?
ever tell us that you don't troll anymore because you're
Don't believe in Helen Keller. What the fuck? I read the autobiography of Helen Keller in middle school. It was fucking amazing. And it made me want to learn Braille, but I don't. I don't know Braille. I want to still, but I have a lot of things that I want to do. Like, in terms of learning languages, I still want to learn Russian. I still would like to learn Mandarin, Japanese, and that's pretty much it. Maybe get better at French because I already understand Spanish and English, and then a little bit of French and German. Yeah, more French than German.
so bad at it. Like, it's so obvious whenever she's trying to troll us. Someone asks her, "Do you believe in the ozone layer?" And she just says, sure. Another person is
Do you know what the molecule for ozone is, Amber?
like, "Dude, are you for real about Helen Keller?" And Amber says, quote, "Well, a lot of people just know like the surface level of Helen Keller, but like if you dive deeper into it, like learn the things about what Helen Keller did."
What are you fucking talking about? Like, she always makes these sweeping generalizations, but never has any details to back up the statements. That's what she does with her exes as well. It's crazy. That's why I always say that she never learned in school how to do proper argumentation, like how to write an essay in a clear and cogent format. She never learned any of that. And I mean, that is pretty normal for public high schools, but and she didn't even go to a public high school to finish. Um, but at the same time, it's not preparing you to be a thinking adult if you don't understand how to do that, how to form a logical argument and have evidence that supports it. It's vital to being able to express yourself at an adult level.
That she did all of those things. Like, I believe Helen Keller was real in that sense, but not like all of the things that she did, unquote. And then the
What
same
the
super chatter
fuck?
from earlier says, "Are you really this dumb about space?" And Amber, Miss "I'm not going to argue with you," takes the opportunity to scold this person and says, quote,
It's so funny too because I've mentioned that one of the places that I went on frequent school trips to when I lived in the Bay Area was Chabot Space and Science Center, which literally they have a planetarium and so much rich history and facts about science and space. And back when I was going, it was when they were launching all the. It was when they were launching all of the Mars landers and stuff, like in 2004, I think, and 2002. Um, it was right before I went to high school. Was the last one, and then they landed when I was in college, I believe, or high school. I don't remember. It was so cool to be there when they launched because they had coverage on all of the monitors and then all of the different theming and classroom type setups where they could show off all of the different experiments. Fucking awesome. Amberlynn, did you ever go there? That was a long speech about nothing that is important.
Quote, I'm not calling anyone dumb. You don't have to verbally abuse me just because we have different opinions. Like, verbally abuse her? Is she fucking serious right now? By the way, she about the Helen Keller thing, she says that that's completely different from the Stevie Wonder thing, just in case anyone was wondering about that. So after the alleged verbal abuse comment, her whole demeanor changes. She starts being constantly on the phone, texting, playing with her hair, stroking it. And when someone in the chat says, this live has been very boring, she says it's because she's not her normal self, because she's sick with a cellulitis infection, and she's not going to apologize for that. Then
What
she
the
gets
hell?
pissed because someone brings up Helen Keller again. And this is exactly why I called her Biatchlin, because I don't care if she's not feeling well. These are all people who are willing to pay her $10 a month. And this is the best content she could come up with. I mean, I'm sorry, it's shitty content. And if you dare to complain about it, she's just going to go off on you. So then people ask her about her BPD workbook and how that's going. And she says that she stopped doing it because, quote, my therapist said that I shouldn't be doing like a separate workbook that's out of her like teachings, her therapy teachings. And I was like, I guess that makes sense, which is unfortunate because I enjoyed doing it. But it makes
Right.
sense because it's like the workbook versus like what I'm doing in therapy might be like two different paces and things like that. Does anybody know what any of that
Sure.
meant? Because I don't. Okay, so now before we go on, we need to talk about a couple people who are in Amberlynn's membership, however you want to say it. They're called the soda couple, okay? There's two people who are always in Amber's chat. They always kiss her ass. They send her pics on Instagram of like themselves and their cats and stuff like that. And
What the
she
hell?
always pays attention to everything that they say in chat. We call them the soda couple because their screen names are orange soda and lime soda. And apparently they're together. Now, Amber
I wonder if they're like a married couple, like how Amber was messaging when she was with Casey. I wonder.
is to fill in the blank to realize that they are trolls. And she thinks they're
Oh.
actually fans of hers. And the rest of the
Oh.
chat cannot stand them.
Lol.
So one of the sodas said something like, can you tell the other soda to stop eating candles or something stupid like that? And which Amber thought, she totally thinks it's real. Right? So someone in the chat is like, God, they're so annoying. And Amber just hikes up the bitchy level to 100 and says, quote, the next time someone says something mean about them, you're blocked. And that's on period. Because I guess, choosing favorites amongst her members, she feels like is a good idea. Okay, so then she clearly recognizes that she's starting to crash out. And she's like, okay, time to play Choosey. Now, remember,
Oh
when
my
she started the
God.
stream, she said that we were going to play it at the 1 hour mark.
She's getting therapy, guys, with the chat. They're doing Choosey. It's soothing her.
But we're only 35 minutes in, and she's had enough of you naughty chatters because it's punishment time. She says we're doing it now because, quote, I'm over it. I don't feel good. I genuinely feel so sick. If I had like a normal job, like my doctor literally said, don't go to work, like you need to rest your legs for days. So if I had a normal job, I would have to like not go to work.
That's why you have sick days, Amber. And that's why you have time off that's not paid. And that's why you have work from home. And that's why you also have people who go to work when they also have all this shit going on. When they are having mental issues too, they still have to go to work. That's why people tell you that you don't understand shit all about responsibility. What the hell is wrong with you that you don't understand at this point in time?
And she says it's either Choosey or she's getting off early. Someone says, well, you're sitting now, you're resting your legs now. And she says, quote, yeah, I'm supposed to have my legs up, but I can't put them up when I'm sitting like this. They're supposed to be above my heart. Which, Amber, no one forced you to have this stream, okay? I cannot stand when she does this. She decided to do something, and then she treats us like we owe her. Go lay down if it's that bad. And people in her chat were saying that too, like, dude, just go lay down, go rest. So she says that we are gonna play Choosey, and if you say no, you're getting blocked. Okay, so now allow me to explain how Choosey works during the live stream. Amberlynn creates a poll with two celebrities' names on it, and the chat is supposed to pick one. She doesn't say if we pick based on looks or success or anything like that. She's like, just pick one, whatever you want to do. And
It's
then
just
she
on
will end the
personal
poll
preference.
and she'll put two new names up and
Great.
on and on until we're through all the 30 names. Now, I know
Usher.
a lot of people think that when Amber plays Choosey with
Paris
her partners,
Hilton.
it's because she's just giving them busy work, something to do to
Actually,
keep them busy
Emma
while she does
Roberts.
other things.
Actually, I'm changing from Paris Hilton. I like both of them, Paris Hilton and Emma Roberts, but I would prefer Emma Roberts just because I've liked her in like the American Horror Story, Coven, and Apocalypse, I think. Yeah.
And that is exactly what she did in this stream because after she would
Oh, Betty White, no contest.
put the poll up, everyone in chat would be talking about it, they'd be voting.
This is not me playing Choosey. This is me actually just telling you what I would say.
And what would Amber do? She'd grab her phone and go back to texting. And there's literally only like 50 to 70 people participating. So, I mean, clearly everyone else is just bored from it. Now, at one point, she even did an Amber versus
Foodie.
Foodie Beauty poll, which of course she won. So then she gets through all the names and it takes literally 30 minutes. A quarter of this members only stream was just people voting in polls, playing Choosey. So then she's like, she says that she had a mood swing before we started playing Choosey, but now she just feels so much better, guys. See how that works? Now, keep in mind, when she says playing Choosey makes her feel better, she's not saying picking and narrowing things down makes her feel better. It was her forcing us to choose that made her feel better because she didn't pick or choose anything. She specifically said she wasn't
Externalizing her choice, making the ownership of everything in the situation onto the other person. Yeah. Amberlynn's the person who's like, what do you want to eat? I don't know. You choose. And then if you choose the wrong place, she tells you you chose the wrong place. And then it's like, well, then what do you want to eat? No, I'm not picky. You just choose. But then you can never choose right.
she wasn't going to participate in the poll. She made us do it. That's what made her feel better. And I say that she made us do it because she literally said, if you say no to playing Choosey, you're getting blocked. So, I mean, if you want to get your money's worth and participate in the members only streams, you're going to have to just shut up and play Choosey. She doesn't want to hear it if you don't want to. So we take a break. We get through the 30 names, which she says is round one, and we take a break. And she's taking questions from the chat. And someone talks about feeling swollen, how they feel swollen. And Amber then admits that she knows how to take care of that. She says, drink more water, eat less sodium. So why aren't you doing that, Amber? And she admits she knows it. She rolls her eyes and she says that she knows
Just like she knows how to lose weight, but she's not doing it because she doesn't want to.
the tools, she just doesn't do it. Okay, well then you can't really complain about being swollen then. It's like hitting your thumb with a hammer and then complaining that your thumb hurts. You know what to do to take care of that issue you're having and you're choosing not to do it. So then she gets asked which era she wishes she could go back to and live again, and she says she can't tell us the answer because people will speculate that they're still talking. So obviously she's talking about Emily. I don't know why she played like she couldn't tell us. I mean, she just made it clear.
I don't know why I thought they meant like what era of time, like in the history of time of humanity, not just like her girlfriends. Like what?
Who she's talking about. Then someone says that they thought Destiny loved the camera, and she says that all her exes love the camera. But yet, quote, they come back when they're mad at me saying that they didn't. That's the part that's so annoying.
They made it clear that they didn't want to be filmed at the time. Crystal pushed away the phone at times. Destiny asked you, why are you filming, or told you not to. So did her mom. Beck told you they didn't want to be filmed or on camera when you actively made them. And then you also made them film you. And then Emily looked uncomfortable on camera, but then she was eye banging herself too.
She says that she and Destiny, when they became friends, that it was a brother sister type of vibe, and that they were more
Ew. Ew. You would be into that.
like frenemies. Then she tells the story about how when she was 17, she was visiting her dad and he gave her a hat. And she put the hat on backwards and was wearing it. And she and her dad and brother and her brother's friend and some other people all went out to eat. And her brother, who was 16 at the time, and his friend, I guess we're calling her a quote lesbo and telling her that she looks stupid with the hat on. And she never wore the hat again. Apparently, this was just, such a bad thing that happened because even though she claims that she has an awful memory, she sure remembers this one. The one where her
Remember when she said that she's always known that she's been a lesbian, but that she was just ashamed, but she always knew? But then, like, why would you internalize and be ashamed of it if you already knew and you were accepting who you were? Like, I get that they're making fun of you, but it's your brother's friends. Usually you don't get along with your brother's friends unless you're like pretty close with them yourself. Like, I don't understand. And then you didn't really grow up with your brother after a certain point, so you're saying all this stuff, but it doesn't really add up.
teenage brother called her a name back in the 90s. And this brings us to Choosey round 2. This time it's 3 names. Oh my God, so exciting. And first up, it's Billie Eilish versus Kate Winslet and Jack Black. And she says that if any of you
Jack Black.
guys picked Kate Winslet, well, you just must be a troll.
And I don't like Jack Black.
She's freaking out over this poll because I guess she wants Billie Eilish to win so badly that at one point she says that she literally could cry right now over it. And of course, since she won in round 1 against Foodie Beauty, she had to carry.
It's really interesting that she has 600 supposed members, but then only 61 votes. That's a huge discrepancy.
herself onto rounds 2 and 3, which, surprise, surprise, she
Christina Aguilera. Actually, no, Kristen Stewart. Before Christina turned into a teeny bopper, I would have said her, but after that, I'm saying Kristen.
also won. And I know some of you are on the edge of your seat to see who won the final Choosey
Betty White, obviously.
game. And it was Betty White.
If Adam Sandler wanted to be a comedian, Betty White needed to exist. She broke so many barriers as a comedian and as a host on TV. You need to look up her history if you don't know.
Wow. The final poll after that is, should we play Choosey again in the future? And 35 people picked yes out of the hundreds watching. So looks like we're going to have to do it again. Yay. So now we have 25 minutes left in the stream. I wonder what we're going to do next. Well,
Choosey.
you probably guessed it. We're going to watch her text someone.
Oh.
Someone in the chat tells her, get off your phone. And she says, she's just looking at her grocery store list and adding things. Such good members only content, right, guys? Watching Amber write out her grocery store list.
If that's true, then show the grocery list. It wouldn't be difficult.
I mean, why wouldn't you pay $10 a month for this? So then someone in chat says that they love how she skips over the chats that call her out. And they say, you're getting paid for this. And she says, quote, I'm getting paid for people to watch my video. I'm not getting paid to be called out. And so then after 10 minutes of talking about pretty much nothing, and with 15 minutes left until the end, Amber says, who wants a tarot reading? So she does the card readings for the next 15 minutes, which, by the way, she still stops in between readings to text whoever. Someone in the chat says that Amber is checked out and hates her job. And Amber says, quote,
Basically.
that's not true. I'm not checked out. I told you I'm sitting here with cellulitis. I'm on antibiotics. I don't feel the greatest. My mind is in like a million different places.
Then don't stream. You could have just posted and said, I'm not feeling up to it. Sorry, I'll make it up. If you know you're going to start feeling better after today, because like this might have been your low point, why do this to yourself and to your chat? If anything, if I'm really feeling not well because of like allergies or because I'm sick, I do let my boss know that I'm either going to work from home or I'm going to use a sick day. And usually I don't even end up using a sick day. Usually I just work from home.
And I'm trying my hardest. I love my job and I love everyone in here supporting me and being kind to me. And then that person gets blocked. She starts going on and on about how she's feeling anxious. And someone says something about Xanax. And Amber says she would never, ever take a Xanax. And she's also not currently on any anxiety medication. So then someone in the chat just says, get to the ER. That's it. That's all they said. Get to the ER. And Amber freaks out. I mean, she freaks the fuck out. She tells them they're out of their mind crazy. And she says that if they're talking about her cellulitis, it already looks better because she...
Oh, I forgot. When she mentions that her lymphedema and lipedema cause additional pressure in her legs, she was alluding to the fact that people had said that her legs are purple and black because of the poor circulation. That's why she was mentioning it. In case she ever slips up and we see, that'll be her excuse and her reasoning, which totally valid, except for the fact that you don't wear compression garb or do anything, any swimming exercise, anything. Like, you have all the time in the world, and I bet she does have a pool in her apartment complex, but she doesn't want to do exercise even when people would not be there. What is wrong with her?
She was on top of it so fast. She says, quote, I'm about to take my 4th dose of antibiotics. I do not need to go to no ER. Stop. You're just freaking me out more. I've been on here for 2 hours. I should go because I'm not going to have people say stuff like that to me when I already am feeling anxious. Like, that's crazy behavior. Like,
okay, entitlement, Lynn. You sound like the princess of some made up country where they have to stuff you full of food every day. Otherwise, the harvests will go bad.
Genuinely, like, what the fuck? I mean, she went off. She says that she's gonna go because she noticed that her live streams suck the most when she's sick, which makes sense to her because, quote, I have a whole ass, like, deadly infection inside of my body. So, not gonna be, the greatest. And then she ended it. So, about half of this live stream was just her playing Choosey and texting on her phone. It was absolutely ridiculous. If she didn't feel well and she felt like she needed to rest, I don't know why she went through with the live stream. Like, I don't know
Yeah, that's
why
what I'm
she was
saying.
so worried about people, saying that she skipped a stream or whatever. Like, just skipping the stream would be better than this. I feel like she thought that she was going to come on and tell everybody that she had cellulitis, and everyone would just be like, oh my God, you poor baby, you poor thing. And when that didn't really happen, that's what kind of changed the tone. That's when she started getting really upset and cranky and just going.
Yeah, she's used to being treated like a fucking baby whenever she doesn't feel well or whenever she just wants somebody to do something for her. She just expects it. She self infantilizes, and even the emotional labor has to be exported to somebody else.
Off. Now, she says that the cellulitis is getting better. She's on day 4 of antibiotics, but she also said that she was feeling super duper anxious about it and worried that it was going to get worse. So, again, like I said, I kind of tend to believe she
That
might have been
makes me
trying to
think,
downplay just how bad the cellulitis.
yeah, that makes me think that it's already getting worse and she's hoping that it does not continue to get worse. Not that it's okay and it's going to get better. She clearly was not really expecting to feel this bad, and it's causing her to be upset and irritated in general. And that everybody isn't just doting on her is really upsetting her further. It's That's why I said just could have been solved with a post on her community tab, but when you don't have one half the time or more, what are you going to do?
Was. I think it's very possible that she knew it was coming, didn't want to go to the doctor, got scared, whatever reason,
Yep.
and she waited, and now it's like real bad. She said it's
Mhm.
beyond swollen. Those were her words. So I don't know. I guess we will find out how that goes.
And somebody else mentioned that she probably holds on to antibiotics because when she was doing her big clear out, when she was moving from Kentucky to Oklahoma, she showed a bunch of medicine and over the counter treatments that she claimed were other people's, but some of them were hers. And it's interesting that now she has these meds on hand, but when she was telling the story in her video that we watched, she did not mention going to the doctor and getting them with Mama Lynn or even going to the pharmacy and picking them up. So that's pretty interesting because she would have had to walk back through the water that gave her the fucking cellulitis, right?
For her. Um, you guys know I've been screaming to her in my videos, and not that I expect her to watch them, but it's like I've been talking so much about how you gotta drink the water, you gotta eat the low sodium, you don't want to get swollen. Here's just another reason why, because you're more apt to get cellulitis if you are swollen and your skin is stretched so much. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed listening to this members only stream summary. Like I always say, as long as Amber has a members only stream, we are gonna be here discussing it. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button.
I did. Everybody, please leave a thumbs up on both my video and on Salty Crab's video. I will make sure to link it. Not like I said last week and then forgot. So, uh, and leave a crab or any of your favorite seafood type of things. Talk to you later. Bye.